Assalamualaikum, hi. Kita sambung a little bit more on chapter 6, okay? Earlier we talked about the news media, dia punya business coverage and also how to build better relations dengan media. So having said all that, now is the time untuk tengok macam mana kita nak build a successful media relations program, right? So building a successful media relations program means that you need to devote, firstly you devote your resources into strategizing, planning and developing the media relations program entirely. Okay, so resources here means three things, which is your time, of course money and human resource. Okay, you need to know what kind of budget that is allocated to you by your organization for the purpose of media relations. You need also to know what kind of timeline or time frame that you will be working on specific projects. It depends again on your communication plan and media relations plan, as well as the reporters or journalists deadline. Okay, and of course on top of that, human resource. Okay, human resource is very important because not everyone or anyone can build a successful media relations program, and not everyone can deal with the media. So it takes people with skills and also knowledge in media relations, and of course we are talking about the corporate com executive or the PR specialist in the organization. Okay, so after you have planned for your resources, okay, in the planning, okay, always try as much as possible to include a media relations personnel, in the decision making. Okay, when organizations try to outline strategies and tactics in communicating with stakeholders, it is wise to put communication executive or experts in the decision making team, because we would want to have a say, in the strategies and tactics that is going to be implemented. Because once it is done and suddenly people come to us for our advice and we try to alter it, it will become very difficult. So before everything is planned, we encourage communication experts to give their opinion and advice, provide some input and insights, so that whatever communication that is going to take place between the organization and stakeholder groups, there are already strategies and tactics in place, with the advice and counsel from the corporate communications executive. Okay, and having these individuals involved here will at least allow everyone in the organization to be familiar with the pro and cons of each situation and decision. Okay, at the end of the day, if something strikes, for example a crisis, the spokesperson, will be addressing the media, and these people will seek for advice from the corporate com department, okay, or the PR specialist. So they need to be trained well on how to deal with the media, and at the same time they need to be well equipped with some sort of media training. And communication professionals who are involved in the decision making process will also feel more ownership, for the ideas that need to be presented to the media later. At least if we have something to say, if there is our input in it, we will feel that a sense of belonging, and it would be easier for us to address the media, having to know that the idea was not only brought up by us, but is supported by the management of the organization. Okay, and next is to determine whether you have in-house capabilities to do media relations for you. Okay, so using in-house capability is an option. Yeah. Well, of course, you can use consultants and PR firms, which may be beneficial in some cases. Yeah. Especially when there are big events or announcement or campaigns running for your organization. But by far, the best approach for long term is to develop an in-house media relations staff, because you cannot be using outside counsel forever, and it costs a lot to hire agencies to do it for you. So rather than hire an agency to do it for you, why not hire a personnel with media relations skills, uh, into hire them to work with your organization and do it for you in-house. Okay. um, but of course lah, the problem with many companies is that they don't consider media relations to be part of, or to be important enough to hire a professional staff in the company. But companies must also realize that building relations with the media requires skills, and that certain individual with certain personalities can do it. Yeah. Or are better suited for the task. It is not easy for everyone to speak in front of the cameras with the microphones lining up in front of you, and not everyone can do it. People may get stage fright if they are not properly trained. They may say things that they don't want to say in front of the camera, or they may freeze, yeah, in front of the camera, which can backfire to the image of the organizations, being seen as someone who is apa ni, not adequate enough to be a spokesperson for the organization. So companies should also not make the mistake of assuming that a former reporter will be the best person for the job. Yeah? Um, uh, those days when PR first started, yes, many of PR practitioners come from the journalism background, or had been reporters in the field before. But of course, we require, if possible, PR people to be able to write press releases so that it will sound like news. Yeah. But it's not just about that. Okay, PR practitioners needs to be able to write a lot of different messages. Okay, a lot of different style of writings, and not everything is best suited for people with journalism or reporting background. Okay, it takes more than that. Okay. And then, so next is, of course, to use outside counsel sparingly. If there is a need to use them, but don't use it too often. Yeah. One, of course, use as minimum as possible. Yeah. When should you use it? Maybe you want to hire them when you for advice or information, or to help out when there is a major story, or when a crisis hit. You'll find yourself not being able to tackle a lot of things at the same time, because when crisis hits, there are a lot of things going on concurrently, so you may not be able to handle everything. So this is where sometimes outside counsel helps better. They will give you extra manpower, but then again, they may not understand the organization as much as you do. So work together when crisis hits. Ensure that if the outside counsel is heading the media relations program, that you stick by their side, to advise them, or give insights on how your organization operates. All right. And of course, another important use for outside firms, yeah, is to develop and help with the distribution of press releases, and also create video news releases, or corporate videos, things that require huge equipments that many organizations do not have. Consultants outside may have. Yeah. So you can hire them to do those things, because they may have more equipments than what you do have in-house. Okay. And of course, with the expertise that they have, they would be able to put the entire story together to make it look like a real story. Okay. Not to forget sorry. Not to forget is to develop an online media strategy. Again, as I mentioned in the last video, uh, your audience are there now. Most of them are there, irregardless of time, irregardless of space. There's no boundaries to communication anymore. So your media strategies or media relations needs to be online as well. Okay. Of course, wireless communication and the internet has given power to the hands of individual. We talked about citizen journalists. We talked about bloggers. We talked about contents which are user generated. Okay, so internet has given big implications to business. It helps businesses grow. At the same time, it may be also the reason why businesses shut down or goes bankrupt. Yeah, and companies media strategy needs to be able to amplify, with these tactics to deal with the new dimension of coverage. Okay, so your organization must also at the same time create online forum for your constituency to share notes, to share thoughts, to share ideas and opinions or concerns, or even complain. Okay, and at the same time, when you have developed these things, you will be able to monitor it closely from one center rather than having to, view different blocks at the same time. So if you were to create one platform, this would be your main platform to monitor, of course on top of other accounts as well. Okay, and try to integrate media campaigns that tie together strong online and offline channels to create visibility and brand awareness. Okay, again kita tengok division theory, uses and gratification theory. People use different kind of media for different sake. So we are always recommended to use both. Okay, so have strength with using both online and offline media. And internet has become a valuable tool. Yeah, it quickly enables company to get press releases out, and then not only out, it gets it broadly, to different people and different geographical places. Okay, however, be wary of the internet because it spreads both legitimate and fake claims. Yeah. Now, as the internet is increasingly or widely used, as a tool of communication, companies news, the news that you develop for your organization, for various constituencies must also be given more care. It has to be, you have to take into account or take care of this news better, and get reliable resources, trusted resources, and also do your background search, on that specific topic or news before you spread it out, into the open. And of course, paying more attention to the web, realizing that bad publicity online can also legitimately threaten your bottom line, the company's profit at the end of the day. Okay, so another thing is to of course socialize your media relations strategy. Public now are more trusting, of other consumer rather than on traditional media. Okay, dulu during those days when we were, if we are about to buy a product, we tend to read about the product that the organization produce, or you can get brochures about the product. But now when people want to buy something, they will read reviews. So these reviews is what your plan is to get positive reviews from people, because these are your testimonials, these are your publicity, this is the word of mouth that you are looking at to publicize your products and services. Okay, now of course 72% of the world population, the world's internet user has social media accounts. 72%, that's very very high. In fact, one person may own a few social media accounts. Okay, so of course these other consumers will include you and I, around the world, and other people around the world. So why is there a need to socialize your media relations strategy? because the power of social media is enormous. You saw it in the US presidential campaign, and the more recently you saw it in our Pilihan Raya Umum 14, PRU 14, or the GE 14. Okay, you see how the power of social media um, was utilized, yeah, by the then opposition, and which were not allowed to use traditional media to campaign, and yet they still won, yeah, mostly with the use of social media, I must say. Yeah, of course, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, blogs, vlogs, and everything else under the sun, do consider that as part of your online media relations strategy. Okay. Of course, internet on the other hand also offers a lot of other opportunities. Okay, you can have extraordinary access of information from the internet. You know, you can Google about yourself. You can Google about anything for that matter. Of course, you can monitor other competitors, other companies and organizations alike. Monitor chat blogs, again, I have to reiterate this because people tend to um, disregard blogs. Yeah, blogs are important. Bloggers are influential people. Yeah, and now not only blogs, people who are insta famous, people who have millions of followers. These are the people that you need to be targeting. Yeah, to help market your products and services. Yeah, these are the people who you must also watch for. Okay, they may be positive for your organization, at the same time they may be negative. So it depends on how you look at it, or how you treat them, or it depends also on their experience with you, your organization, your products and services. And of course, by using the internet proactively, companies can gauge the emotion of the constituencies. This allows them to respond effectively and help them stay on top of today's information search. Okay, so again, corporation need to track down your consumers' points of view and concern. Uh, Take blogs seriously. Yeah, bookmark relevant blogs that are very closely related to your industry. Read them regularly. Act, and then if there is any news in regards to your company, act fast. Yeah, so do it quickly, so that it will not I mean, actions will be taken promptly before things go sour. Okay, and of course, if there is a request for interview from bloggers, try not to dismiss it, because these people, you can put them at the same level as journalists and reporters of the mainstream media. Okay. Last but not least, if a negative news is imposed towards your organization, you need to understand that you need to handle this negative news effectively. So when negative news are detected from these blogs that you monitor, or these online tracking devices, etc., you should quickly assess the potential damage that this news can make, yeah, or can be for your organization. uh, among the questions that you should be asking is, who is the person that has issued the complaint or the news? Are the comments valid? Is the person speaking as an individual, or part of a pact or association, or part of a pressure group, for example? Does he or she represent a broader constituency, broader group of people? um, are they your investors, or could he or she be your employees? Okay, find out all these details. Yeah, and if you notice that the negative news has spread widely, you need to identify how widely it has spread. Okay, and try to find also if there has been a rogue website, yeah, that has been constructed for this purpose. Okay, and how many hits it has got, it has received, sorry. How many people generally responded to this negative news, and if it is an unflattering newspaper article about your organization, find out the circulation number for the organization, for the newspaper, yeah, to estimate how far the negative news has reached the society. Okay, so once all these questions that I've mentioned is answered, okay, a company's task force or the corporate department or permanent crisis team, yeah, must brainstorm some potential action. Yeah, companies' lawyers must be consulted to discuss what legal stance the company might need to take, and of course, start damage control after that. Okay, so at the end of the day, if you had done this earlier, risk management assessment, etc., there won't be need to do damage control. Yeah, because PR, we are advised to be proactive rather than reactive. So which is why media relations planning and training is required. Yeah, it has become a necessity for all organizations. So that wraps up chapter 6. Yeah, I will be posting more videos on other chapters. I hope you have watched every part for this chapter, and if there's a question, please do ask me in class. Okay, so thank you for watching. Bye bye.